members, we're going to do a series of videos here throughout the summer just to show that there's still a lot going on at the club. Anything from calendars to budgets to golf course projects to clubhouse projects. So, you know, we're not going to spend a lot of time on budgets. That's not too exciting. But we are certainly we're picking on Tim for this episode, if you will. And we're going to spend some time with him today and show all the new projects that are going on. Tim and I are out here on 7 Green. We're going to do a video that kind of focuses in on all the golf course projects. We'll do some other ones throughout the summer. You know, most members have been gone for about 6 weeks, so there's been a lot happening at the club over the last 6 weeks. We have had some pretty good weather. We've been only a couple days above 100, but this weekend we're supposed to get 118.
Well,
so
good for members, not so much good for Bermuda grass, but luckily the weather is going to turn really warm here at the right time when we're sprigging. So sprigs need heat to fill in, so it's coming at just the right time.
So tell us on those lines, we're going to talk about the sprigging process. We'll talk a little bit about trees, cart paths, all those things have been going on simultaneously.
Yeah.
But what greens are you doing?
Okay, so we are resurfacing all the greens on the front 9, the main putting green right by the clubhouse, and the chipping green. And last year we did all the back 9 greens and the little small putting green over by 10T, so we're doing everything else. It's pretty much a very similar process to what we were doing last year. There's a few different things I'm changing after going through it for 1 year and seeing what we could improve upon. But the process of this resurfacing the green is we kill out the existing Bermuda, wait about 10 days, strip that about 2 3/4 inches of the Bermuda off, the sod off. I keep watering it to see if there's any Bermuda that's still alive comes back. We'll respray that, and then we put a granular fumigant on it to kill any nematodes, any weed seeds, things like that are on the green. We did that on the 13th of June, and then that has to stay on there for 5 days and then a couple days for it to gas off. And then we sprig here, and we started that on the 27th, on Tuesday. So we are going to be done with this process tomorrow. So it took us 4 days basically. And we can show you what's going on over here. It seems like a kind of a weird way to start a green, but it works really well because Bermuda grass is just a very interesting and unique plant. We're sprigging our greens here with certified tip dwarf Bermuda sprigs, and you notice I got a lot of guys, and that makes the process work much better. The faster you go, the better. Because you don't want the sprigs to dry out. So this is a Bermuda sprig right here. And what it is, they cut Bermuda sod and then they shred it, knock all the dirt off of it, and you're left with a little thing like this. So we got a Bermuda grass stolon here, and you can see these little roots that are coming off of here. That's where it's going to want to tack down. So we just spread these out as evenly as possible, and we keep them wet. You can see we don't want them to dry out. And then once we get them all done, we cut them in with a special implement on a tractor that kind of presses them into the soil, and then we bury them in sand, the same sand that's the USGA top dressing greens mix sand. And then we water them, and then they'll start rooting down immediately, and we'll probably be mowing in about 2.5 weeks. Since 1999, when these greens were done originally, they've gotten a lot of contamination and mutation. So hybrid Bermuda is just a mutation of another naturally occurring Bermuda. And so what causes mutation? Radiation. Well, where's radiation come from? Well, it comes from the sun. We have lots of sun. So over time, this Bermuda is getting radiation from the sun, and it's causing it to mutate further. And what happens is the tip dwarf will sometimes revert back to what its original form was that it mutated from. And so you get different growth habits in the green, which isn't a big problem in the winter since we overseed. It's a problem if you were putting on it in the summer. You know, the greens don't putt well in the summer at all because we've got all these different textures and types of Bermuda that make it uneven. But the problem it was causing was it makes it hard to get it ready to prep it for overseeding, because some varieties want to strip off and open up really quickly, and other ones are really dense and they don't want to open up. And so it's hard to get a uniform seed bed for our overseeded, our poetry and our ryegrass, and that was really the impetus for why I wanted to resurface these things, to make sure we kept having a great overseed for the next 20 years.
Well, easy for him to say, right? But as you can tell, those that haven't spent a lot of time with Tim, he gets into this stuff. It's not easy to understand, and it's even harder to explain, but it's really exciting. And I'm sure you all saw the results from last year's resurfacing, which was really no difference.
Yeah,
Last
year I was a little nervous, not about if we could make it work, but were the new greens going to play the same as the old greens? And luckily they played virtually identical, so that was really great. And then I did learn a few things last year about the process, so I tweaked it a little bit, which I think this year is going to be even better than what we did last year. But yeah, I think now it's like all these greens should be really, really, really good going forward for the next 20 years, and be really putt just as good or even better than they did before.
Well, and as already highlighted, is the fact that all season they should be better. They won't just be prime for 6 months out of the year. They'll be much better all
I
year
think
round.
that they will transition better as well. What I've seen so far is this spring, this whole spring has been colder than usual, but May and June especially have been extremely cold since I've been here, and probably way farther back than that. So not good for a Bermuda grass transition. And so the new greens have transitioned a lot better than I thought they were going to, based on the weather we've had. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories talking to my colleagues around the valley about how poor the transition is this year on the greens. And so I was expecting it to be really bad because of the weather, but frankly, I'm really happy with it.
Okay, we're going to transition to trees now. That's been another big project for the summer. We talked about how many have come out, and those were mostly date palms, and then what is going in. So, Tim, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so we're here standing behind number 7 green, and this is a good spot because I can show you the tree. The tree that we planted the biggest quantity of was called the Cascalote tree. This is a Cascalote tree right here, and it looks, it goes, okay, well that doesn't look so impressive, right? Well, this is 5 years later. This is what the tree will look like. Okay. And so the nice thing about the Cascalote tree is that it actually is one of the few trees that flowers in the winter. Most of the desert plants flower in the summer when nobody's here, but this gets a beautiful yellow flower several times during the golf season, which is really nice. It's also a neat tree. It's not real messy, which is good, and it stays at about a 20-foot height and gets about as wide. So it's a perfect size for kind of blocking kind of the houses from the long-range views. If you create a little more seclusion and separation of the golf course from those houses, and kind of keep you focused on the golf hole and not so distracted by all the clutter in the distance. So overall, we've added 49 new Cascalotes on the property, and then we're putting back in over 90 trees back in. So it's not like we're doing this tree removal like a lot of courses are doing to get rid of all the trees. We're doing a tree upgrade where we're getting rid of trees that were poor performing, didn't really fit the vision for the course that the architect has, and we're replacing it with trees that are going to really serve a purpose, are very, very well suited to our desert climate, and are going to be maintenance friendly going forward, as well as add to the strategy of the course and the beauty of the course. Okay, so I'm out here by the tee house, and we're looking out towards the back of 16 green, and this is one of the new trees we planted. This is the biggest one that we planted. This is a Tipuana tree. The name is Tipuana tipu. Common name is just tipu tree, but this tree will get 40, 50, 60 feet tall eventually. But this is also going to help block out the roof line of the tee house from 16 fairway. It's going to help block out a house that's to the left of 6 green when you're standing on number 11 fairway. So when we place these trees, we've looked at all the different possibilities, of how can this tree help us aesthetically or strategically, and we got got this beautiful tree here, and this is going to be a really nice addition for this whole tea house area, kind of anchor this area over here.
Okay, cart path work is another big element that we added this year. So Tim will talk about, we're out here on 17. So this was the biggest project. It widened the path, so now we have 2-lane traffic in this area. As we know, during busy times, this gets really congested here, so we kind of solved that problem. But there's been other spots on the course he's addressed as well, so go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, so this came out great, and I know you could look at it and say, well, why is it such a different color? Well, all the cart paths were this color originally, and over time, they get this patina that gets kind of a darker, kind of more brownish, orangey color. The orange is from actually iron that we fertigate through the irrigation system, makes it get to that orange tinge. But we are going to stain all the new stuff to make it match the existing stuff as closely as possible. So this was our biggest area that we did, but we've also repaired small sections, 2, 3, 4 panels at a time that were severely cracked or had a big bump in them. But then we also added some more of the rumble strips on areas where cart traffic was wearing out the edges of the grass next to the path. We've added some more of these strips in some spots to take care of that. So yeah, overall I think it's going to be a very nice addition. Make the drive a little bit better, not so bumpy and stuff, and it'll look a lot better as well.
And this is something that will be just an annual type maintenance thing. This is, you know, some of the capital dollars at work. We budget this each year, and each season we'll just knock out a few more pieces of cart path because those are constantly evolving and cracking and what have you. So that'll just be part of the summer project plan.
Yeah.
Next month we'll do a video about what's happening inside the clubhouse as we talk about the men's locker room and some other spaces that are getting a new look, and that will be far enough along that we can really start talking about that. Then we're going to do one about the calendar. So as we look at next year's calendar, we have a lot new events, fun events, so we want to spend a little extra time with the staff explaining what to look for on that calendar, and then with that you'll have the full calendar so you know the dates to schedule and all that. And all those two are looking at August time frame, and we're hitting July with everything that's happening on the course. So hope you enjoy the video, and we're excited to get these things ready for when you come back November time frame.